All right, welcome everybody. Thank you very much, and welcome to the Pick and Pay Winemakers Table. A very, very exciting edition of the Pick and Pay Winemakers Table tonight. We are together with the man himself, Mr. Paul Clüver. I hope that you guys are settling in nicely at home. I do understand that there are a few people that might not have received their wine as of yet, but do not despair. It is on its way. They are going to be delivering it to you. And if it has not arrived at the end of the evening, please just do drop a mail to Tatum, and she will be able to sort you out. So hopefully it is there. And if it has just arrived, I think one of the most important things are that you get that bottle of Chardonnay cold. There's a few things that you can do to get that cold. Obviously, stick it in your freezer, but I think that I've been chatting to Paul here. He's got quite a good tip on how to get that cold as quickly as possible. What might that be, Mr. Paul?
Yeah, hi John. Good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to share the evening with you. Yeah, there's water and ice bucket.
Yeah,
and add some salt to it. It increases the conductivity, chills the wine very, very quickly.
Okay, so most important, throw that thing into the freezer, get that into ice or into that salt water. All right, perfect. Well, anyway, as I said, welcome everybody. We are in for a cracker of the evening. We've got some incredible food and, more importantly, two amazing wines from Paul Clüver. I just want to thank a few people as well. Thank you, obviously, to the Pick and Pay Wine Club for putting on this incredible event, and also to the Pick and Pay online team who are missioning around the country at the moment, delivering all of your wines if you have not received that already. All right, so as I said, we've got an amazing evening. Please do enjoy yourself. Make sure that your cameras are also on. We love to interact with you as well. So I can see you've got a great big screen over here. I can see exactly what's going on. Some guys are looking incredibly smart. I even see a boat. Yeah, I saw the boat. I even done supporting now. Right? So good luck. Fantastic. Looking really smart there. It is an extra special evening, so I'm glad that you have dressed up for the evening. We are, as I said, going to be doing quite a bit of cooking, so I'm going to run through all of it with you very, very slowly and to make sure that you understand it very well. But more importantly, we are here for two incredible wines, and we also are here for the master of Pinot Noir, Mr. Man himself, Mr. Paul Clüver. Welcome to the evening.
Thank you very much. It's very good to be here, and I hope you all have a lot of fun. As John said, we've got two wines showing Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, and I think it's going to be.
It really is.
I mean, we started, so I hope for those of you who've got a wine ready, that you've got it open and choose it. And Mr. Bowtie already has it.
Good man. All right, cool. So Paul Clüver, obviously situated in the Elgin Valley in Cape Town. Cool region. Tell us a little bit about Paul Clüver. A little more about the wines we're going to taste tonight.
Sure. So for those of you who don't know, as you mentioned, we're in the Elgin appellation. Traditional apple country. So most people, I remember when I started having the wine industry, most people said, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm in the apple and wine business." And then they said, "Which wine?" Yeah, it's Paul Clüver wines, and people would think for a while, and they say, "No, never heard of that." And say, "Which region?" And you go, "Elgin," and they go, "Isn't that apple country?" Thank God today, I think Elgin is really well known for especially Chardonnay and Pinot Noir in South Africa. And it's been an absolute wonderful journey. My father actually pioneered the first commercial plantings. Our family started the first winery in 1997. We've been lucky enough to have the same winemaker now for 26 years. So it's been absolutely amazing. The only way we got that right is to marry him off to my older sister. It's the only way we could afford him at the time, right?
That's what it's all about.
Exactly. So, but he's an incredible winemaker, very, very talented, has got a wonderful passion for specifically Chardonnay and Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's why we're here.
Fantastic. We are going to try it as well. But most importantly, what I want you guys to do also is to get your kitchens ready, because we have got, normally we do some canapes, but this is, as I said, it's an extra special night tonight. We're going to be doing a two-course meal, starting off with a really great starter and heading on to a really impressive, beautiful main course, which will pair beautifully with the wines. So while we're going to learn a little bit more about the wine, what I do want you to do is get all of your equipment ready. Pick and Pay and the winemaker team have put together some really great boxes which have been delivered to you inside a reusable picnic bag, which is fantastic. And inside you'll find all of these different ingredients which we're going to make. You'll see everything is labeled nicely. One of them is with the starter, which is a really, really great burnt orange little brioche toast, and the other one, which is going to be a really nice creamy orzo pasta. So that one, which has got the wild mushrooms in, is this. It's a really, really great product. Part of the Pick and Pay Crafted Collection range. This is a dried shiitake mushrooms. Before we get going on anything else, the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to start rehydrating them. So what I want you to do is to take this little packet, snip it open, and we're going to rehydrate them. So these are dried. These will last forever in your cupboard. I need you to basically take a bowl like this and pour them all into it. Just empty the packet into it, and we're going to rehydrate those with some boiling water. So if you've got a kettle, boil a kettle, pour some hot water on. If you don't have a kettle, absolutely fine. Just pour some hot water. Paul, I've heard that he's actually an incredible chef.
How much do you want?
Or just doesn't matter. Probably about 2 cups. All right, there we go.
There we go.
There we go. I got my sous chef. Hopefully you got your sous chef in your kitchen as well. Literally, that's all I want you to do at the moment. Put that boiling water over your mushrooms and rehydrate them and set them aside. Okay. And while we do that, I'd really like to pick your brain a little bit more about the Elgin Valley. I know that obviously the Chardonnay is slightly different because it's obviously a cool climate, and Elgin is a very cool climate area, and how that kind of changes a Chardonnay.
Yeah, it's a good question. So as mentioned, Elgin is actually South Africa's coolest wine growing region. And
because of the valley, maybe
100%. So,
yeah.
and what do we mean when we say coldest wine growing? Is that in our growing season, it's a lot cooler than Stellenbosch or Robertson or Paul, etc., etc. And it gives us the ability for the grapes to take a longer time to ripen.
Okay, so it's slow.
So we don't get high sugar levels in the wine, but you get this phenolic ripeness, without trying to be too technical. But the Chardonnays then tends to be more citrusy lime as opposed to peach, peachy like, and you don't get this heavy battery characteristics in the Chardonnay, but rather it's almost a little bit of tension in the wine, which I think is absolutely superb.
Yeah.
And for me, this is then the most amazing Chardonnay to go with dishes like roasted chicken, fish, and that, because that acidity just lifts the wine and combines with the food so well.
100%. Yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. And look, we have obviously tasted this prior to even starting. We couldn't wait. We really could not wait.
No.
And it is exactly the note we're getting. We really are getting something which is slightly different. Normally with a Chardonnay, everyone thinks that it's quite an oaked, kind of buttery, heavy, kind of matured kind of caramel flavor. And when I initially tasted this, I was like, oh, this is really like vibrant and quite citrusy.
Yeah, it's got that lovely citrus lime. For me, it's got hints of creaminess.
Yeah.
So you can almost feel it's coating the palate, but then at the end, the acidity just lifts it again. And what I love is you almost get the salivating characteristic in your mouth. So you can almost that saltiness that just makes you almost want to go for the next sip.
100%.
And before you know, the bottle will be finished and you'll have to go back to Pick and Pay and buy some more.
That's a great idea. All right, guys, I can see everyone on their screens nicely getting all of their kitchen stuff ready. We're going to start with the first canapé, which I also want to make sure that you've got all your equipment ready. All you need to have is a pan. This pan, we're going to be doing a little bit of toasting with your brioche. So make sure that you've got a pan ready. Get that onto the heat, I would say about a medium heat. Make sure that you've got a zester. We're going to do a little bit of zesting. You can use a grater, which is 100% fine, and a knife, and get all your little things ready. We've also given you a little bit of a board, which you're going to present your first starter on. So get all those things ready. Make sure that your kitchen is nicely prepped up, and we'll get going with the first one. So, you know, generally when we're talking about what wine pairings and kind of looking at what would work with different things, obviously, you know, flavor combinations work, flavor things that accentuate the wine works. Sometimes things that are opposite also work as well. Things that kind of, you'd think they would clash, but actually where you would use the wine to kind of like cut through. So sometimes if you've got quite an acidic wine or something which is a little bit zestier, something creamy works as well. So, you know, 100%. You'll see as we go through this, we'll also talk about the dishes that would work quite nicely with this as well. And you'll even see that our second dish would probably pair quite nicely with the Chardonnay as well.
Definitely. And I should firstly say, for me, I think that, and especially when we start getting to red wine, actually wines that has phenomenal acidity and elegance pairs for me better with food than wines that are too heavily oaked, because the oak starts actually dominating the whole characteristic.
Sure.
But your point on opposites, and if you can think about lamb, which tends to be fatty, or duck, or if you have a wine with some acidity in it that just lifts it and cuts through that fat, that's actually when the combination of drinking and eating becomes a different experience.
Completely. Yeah, that's exactly it. And it is all about trying and experimenting. So you'll see that some things that work for you and some things that don't work for you, but it really is all about trying. All right, good. So as we're going to get going, obviously we certainly do eat with our eyes, and things are going to look beautiful, I guarantee you. So one thing we do want to make sure that you do is keep your cameras on, but also take photos of the dishes that you're creating and do post them to social media as well. We've got 2 hashtags which we'd really like you to use. One of them being hashtag P&P Wine Club, as well as the hashtag Paul Clüver Wines as well. Post those to social media. We are running a competition that we will choose the best photos of the night, and you stand a chance of winning 300 Rands worth of Smart Shopper points. If you don't want to post, that's absolutely fine. Please do comment in the box. Ask us some questions, and also you'll stand a chance of winning those 300 Rands worth of Smart Shopper points if you ask us a fantastic question. Okay, cool. So time to start cooking.
Can we also post pictures?
You go right ahead. All right.
I need my phone.
Okay, cool. So we're going to make a nice little bruschetta. You'll see inside your boxes, you've got this little bun. It's a brioche bun. Basically, a brioche bun is an enriched dough. It's got a lot of butter in it. It's got that really nice toasty flavor. So what I want you to do is place that onto your board. And we're going to cut 3 little toasts out of it, as you would. So I'm going to take off the end, one like that, put that to the side. I'm going to create 1 little toast, easy as pie. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Just like that, you got 3 toasts. All right. Simple, simple, simple. All right. On your board. Cool. Inside this little tub over here is some butter. The more butter, the better. Absolutely. Into your pan. Oh, that's hot. Yeah. Let me turn that down. There we go. I'm going to put half the butter into the pan, and I'm just going to melt that. Turn that down to 2. And I'm going to toast these little brioche buns in the pan. And that's going to become really nice and toasted brown into it. Mop up some of that butter. As I said, not too hot. You don't want to burn it. You want to just get that really nice toasty flavor. And I think that that is kind of one of the things we were thinking about when we were putting these canapes together, really was about the toastiness, the brioche toastiness that we actually get out of the Chardonnay.
So I love the smell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is a bit of butter, and that's the way. Look at that, Freddie.
Yeah.
There we go. Perfect. There we go. And turn that off and turn that around. Perfect. Really, really nice and toasted. Already done in my pan. I'm going to let you guys catch up a little bit. But once you are done like that, I've literally toasted mine in the pan, and it's looking really good at the moment. It's smelling really good. Oh. So look at that. Nice and toasted. Onto my display board. Simple as that. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Cool. Now, if you guys are doing that, what I want you to do now is there should be 2 of you in the kitchen, you and your sous chef. I've got my sous chef here. Orange. Orange.
This is also for Negronis.
Exactly. We're talking about that. And love a little Negroni.
There we go.
Okay, so you've got a grater. What I want you to do is I want you to grate a little bit of that zest. And the reason why we talk about zest over juice and stuff is because the zest for me really brings out the floral flavor and the notes of either the lemon or the orange. And for me, it doesn't dilute it with too much sweetness. It just brings an amazing aroma.
Do you need more?
No, that's perfect. Look at that. Yeah. So that is good. You see, he's become a chef in the kitchen, quick sticks, just like you guys at home. How are you guys doing at home? You all good? You're catching up nicely? You've toasted there we go. Some good thumbs up over there. Fantastic. All right. So I'm going to place that over there just for a little bit later. And now we're not going to waste. So we've used our orange for the zest, but we're also going to use our orange for some segments as well. Okay. So in the pan that you've just toasted your brioche, we're going to slice a slice of our orange. I would say just a normal slice of an orange, just like that. Okay. Simple. Look how thick it is. There we go. Simple, simple. All right. What we want to do is we want to caramelize this. There we go, just like that. You can see exactly how thick it is. We're going to caramelize our orange in the pan. And this brings out
the kind of, I would say, the sugary notes of it. It also gives it a little bit of like caramel flavors as well. So what I'm going to do is I put the rest of the butter into the pan, to pop that in there and let that caramelize. Okay. So I just said, you know, we've looked at the wine, we've tasted the wine, we've kind of seen that on the nose there's that beautiful citrus, quite like, I mean, orangey more than maybe lemon, or what are we picking up here?
Yeah, I mean, I pick up this citrus blossom, citrus lime, and I would say, yeah, a little bit of orange, and then with the what I love on the palate is just this tension of the wine. So for me, wine is not only about the flavors of that, but you know, John, that's part of the problem when we describe wine too much.
Yeah,
is that one is we make it intimidating, but two is the most important question about a wine is, do you like it or don't you?
100%.
So even if you look at a painting, is you don't look and say, well, I love the blue, or I love the orange, or you look at the painting and you say, wow, that's amazing. And I think if you can create a dish or a wine where people just go, I love it and it's amazing, that for me is the most incredible thing. I think obviously when we come to food and wine pairings, you want to understand what makes great pairings.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, we have rules: white wine with fish or white wine with white meat. But you don't always have to do that. You can go off the reservation and change that. And I think that's part of the fun part. And I would tell people, experiment, try different things, and you might be surprised with what you like.
That really is true. It really is true. And that's what's so great about the Pick and Pay Wine Club, because they've got so many different wines on offer. And obviously at Pick and Pay, you can try out different foods, and really is about experimenting. And I think that is the great thing. And we've allowed ourselves to actually step out of this mold of being quite, I would say, traditional in our wine pairing and our wine tasting. I mean, I'm very much of the fact of, you buy a bottle of wine, you like it, you're going to buy it again. It's as simple as that. Like,
well, the question then is actually, what are you going to cook with it?
Yeah. Which you're going to bring around here.
Exactly. And I mean, we entering winter. I know, you know, guys, Joburg don't get too much rain at this time of the year, but it's at least cold. And there are so many amazing dishes that, for example, goes with Pinot Noir in the winter. Yeah. Most people don't think of it being a wintry wine. But if you think about the classic dishes that goes with Pinot, which is Boeuf Bourguignon, which is basically a stew. So if you think in South Africa, oxtail, coq au vin, or lamb griedi, or whatever, I mean, that's Pinot Noir is made for those type of dishes, 100%. which is so exciting. So if you like a specific wine, you can almost ask yourself, what am I going to do with that next?
Completely.
And needless to say, if you're just doing a braai, a little lamb chop with a Pinot is just a fantastic combination.
Yeah, 100%. No, it really is. And that's as I said. So try it out. Give yourself some time. Sit down, try it out. It'll be a fantastic thing to do. All right, cool. So what have you seen in the pan? I'm going to hold it up there. You can see basically, I'm going to bring it to the top. You can see that we've done some really nice sort of caramelization on that orange. It's just bringing out the natural sugars of that. So what I'll do is I'm just going to place it onto my board, turn off the heat. We're all good there. And what we'll do is I'm just going to cut some segments out of this orange. So you don't need to have the pith. We can cut that out. So I'm just going to cut it all off the side, and we're going to end up with that beautiful flesh on the inside. There we go. Just cut it all off around. This was really just holding it together. There we go. We don't need that. We'll put that onto the side. And now we're going to top our, maybe what we should do is we should either do I think what we'll do is we'll actually add the bocconcini first. So you'll see also in the tub, you've got this really great cheese. And this is a little bocconcini. Very, very simple and really nice, quite simple, creamy flavors. You can open up your tub, and these little bocconcini are absolutely beautiful. They really are great. It's also available at Pick and Pay. And what it is, it's a cow's cheese. It's like a little mozzarella. It's a baby. And if you tear them apart, you can actually see those really great little strands. And what we'll do is we're just going to tear that and place that onto our bruschetta. It doesn't have to be in any sort of shape or form. Just tear it ever so slightly and just pop that on top. There we go. Quite simple flavor, but it's just got a really nice texture and a really nice creamy thing. We've got 3 of those. You can basically place one of the balls on each of them. There we go. As we're creating this, it is literally, it's about sort of different flavors. It's about different textures. You've got a really nice smooth creaminess of that, which probably would work quite nicely. We were talking about the creaminess of something being offset against that zestiness and the freshness of the Chardonnay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So then we've got our orange, which has been nicely caramelized. I'm just going to place, maybe cut that into a few little segments. There we go. I'm just going to place that right on top. There we go. That's that really nice caramelized orange right on top. There we go. 1, 2, 3. And that'll be perfect for a little canapé. And then to top things off, you'll also see we've got some honey and some caramelized nuts as well. So this little honey is a great little addition. Just give a bit of sweetness and a bit of richness. I'm going to drizzle this over the top. You'll see this in your little piping bag. Nice little drizzle of that right on top. Each of them will just get a small amount. We don't want it to be too sweet. We just want to offset a little bit of that zestiness of the orange. There we go. And then finally, what we're going to do is we've got these really cool little nuts, hazelnuts that have been roasted. So this is also very easy for you to do at home. Taste one of these guys.
Yeah.
It's got a sweetness to it, sweet and salty. Basically little nuts. So what you do is you put them into a pan, give them a little bit of a toasting, add a bit of sugar, toss that around. The sugar starts to caramelize a little bit, add a little bit of salt. It gives it a nice little kind of saltiness and some, it's delicious, very, very good. So you got these. If you want to keep them whole, absolutely fine. If you want to crush them, just give them a push down on the board and crush them up and place them 1, 2, 3 onto that. These are really, really great additions. These will keep forever in your cupboard as well. So you can do them beforehand and just use them as you go along. I'm just going to place them around there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 onto your presentation board. And there you are. It's very, very simple, but really, really great flavors. The brioche bun got a nice toastiness. For me, I think that it comes quite nicely with the Chardonnay. We've got a really nice citrus notes, soft cheese, and some little bit of the toasted nuts on top. So here we go. Look at that. That is fit for a nice little canapé party.
That looks amazing.
I'm going to give that to you to do a little bit of a tasting, if you would. You can take that.
I'm going to while people looking at you.
Exactly. Right. How's that work? But
focus on him.
But do please take photos. We'd love to see what you're doing. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to catch up and have a look. Do take some photos. As we said, you do stand a chance of winning a 300 Rand worth of Smart Shopper points. So do take photos. Do ask some questions. We'd love to hear what you guys are doing at home and love to see how things are. If you've got any questions about the wine, certainly Paul will be love to answer those. If you've got any questions about the food, please do answer us as well. All right. How does that work for you?
It's delicious.
Yeah.
I love the fact that brioche is lovely and soft, the texture. And I do think the nuts on top of it just helps also with the soft bun with the crispiness, and that absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's true. So that's a good point, that when you are creating some kind of food or any sort of canapes, it's really important to kind of change up your textures as well. Anything that's completely soft might just be completely lost.
Yeah.
And the same thing, obviously with that. And I would imagine it's very, very similar to kind of how you blend wines as well. You've got to think of all of these different sort of characteristics to get a good balance.
100%. I mean, I think what I also love is the wine and the food combination works really well together. And there is almost a brioche-ness in the wine with you pick up, and there's a lovely bridge between the two.
100%.
Well paired.
Well, somebody asked, what is the zest for? I forgot to put the zest on. Oh my gosh, look at that.
He was only trying to show you how to do it.
There you go. There we go. The last coup de grace, Paul, this is for you. A tiny little bit of zest right on top. That just brings it through quite nicely. Can't believe we've left that off. There we go. Perfect. Try that with the zest. It's really, really good. And somebody's also asked, can we substitute another cheese with it? 100%, 100%. So I think any cheese would work quite nicely with this. Eh? What do you think? A hard cheese or a soft cheese?
Well, it depends what you like. So I have a friend that who's in the wine industry, Alex Dale from Rat. He hates soft cheese, right?
Really?
He likes Comté, which is a hard cheese, beautiful hard cheese. Would also work exceptionally well with Chardonnay. What else would I do? I obviously wouldn't do too strong a characteristic.
No,
so I wouldn't do a blue cheese.
Probably wouldn't.
I wouldn't work. No. And I wouldn't do a boring cheese like cheddar.
For sure, 100%. No, absolutely. All right, good stuff, guys. You've done extremely well. I've seen what you guys are doing at home, and thank you for the questions. Do keep them coming. What we're going to do is we're going to move on to our second dish. The main course for this evening is going to be a really, really great dish. And it's also going to be paired with Paul, probably what Paul Clüver really is synonymous for, the best Pinot Noir that I've ever tasted, the Elgin Valley Estate Pinot Noir.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm more excited about your mushrooms than that. I mean, look at they've been growing over here. Look at this.
There you go.
Huh?
That's incredible. There you go. So we've probably left those to rehydrate for about, I would say about 15 minutes, which is probably perfect. Paul, they're looking good. They're nicely softened.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, that's good. Okay, cool. So yeah, as I said, we are going to move over to the second dish. I hope you are enjoying your canapes and your starter. What I want you to do is I want you to get some water onto the stove. All right. So it doesn't matter. I'll probably say about 4 cups of water, maybe 1 liter into a pot, and get that to a nice big rolling boil, because we're going to be starting to cook the main sort of component of our dish, which is our orzo. Orzo, very much pasta rice, basically. Yeah. Really, really good. Okay, so let's get that water on and get that into the pan while we have a look at our second wine, Paul, the Pinot Noir. Where are we looking at? There we go.
We've got to start drinking that.
There we go.
I'm going to finish that one, and then we'll move along.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Lovely.
So for me, the amazing thing is about Pinot Noir is, if you think, most people would think the home of Pinot Noir, Burgundy, where it comes from. Ironically, that's not where the most Pinot Noir in the world is planted.
Where is that?
Where do you think?
I would say California.
Still in France, but in Champagne.
Really?
Yes. And in South Africa, the same story holds true. The most Pinot Noir is not planted in Elgin or the Hemel and Ardagh Valley, where the probably, I think, not probably, I think the 2 best growing regions for Pinot Noir in South Africa is.
Yeah.
It's Robertson, Paul, Stellenbosch, but it all ends up as bubbly.
Really?
And it's only in selected areas in the world where Pinot Noir actually can ripen to create a phenomenon. And the reason being is it doesn't like extreme weather. It doesn't like heat. Otherwise it becomes raisins. When you can make this wine, it just is absolutely delicious to enjoy. It's unlike a Cabernet or Merlot or Shiraz. It's not a big, bold, in-your-face wine.
Yeah.
But it's got this lovely layers of complexity, and it finishes off with this velvety, silky texture.
Yeah.
For me, it's just absolutely amazing.
For me too, it really is. And I think a lot of people think that a Pinot Noir is a light wine, but it's anything but a light wine. It's very complex. There's a lot of, as you drink it, it kind of starts building on you as you go along.
And the most important, I think a great wine is where you can drink the bottle.
For sure.
And when a wine becomes almost too hard to drink, is testing me actually the wine is either too extracted or too much alcohol or too the wonderful thing about Pinot Noirs is it's food pairing ability. I had to pick one wine to pair with food, it would be Pinot Noir, especially if you go out to a restaurant. If you think about it, you ordering a steak, I'm ordering a fish, someone else is ordering a vegetarian. The wine that pairs the best with a variety of dishes would be Pinot Noir, without a doubt. Yeah. And one of the reasons is it's the red wine with the highest natural acidity. So that acidity pairs so exceptionally well. And it goes well with yeah, with just such a variety, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, so it is obviously Pinot Noir, originally Burgundy, first planted, and in South Africa, when were the first grapes of
So actually the first winery to plant Pinot Noir in South Africa was Murati in Stellenbosch way back.
Yeah.
But I would have to give credit to Hamilton Russell Vineyards, Anthony Hamilton Russell. They really did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Back in the 1970s, they pioneered the Yamuna Valley. If you ask me, in the last 20 years, the variety has really exploded.
100%.
And partly
really
because the two areas where it really flourishes, which is Yamuna and Elgin,
yes,
is just doing incredibly well. And Elgin's got some real amazing producers, ranging from Richard Kershaw to Iona to Oak Valley, which is exciting.
Yeah.
And that type of competition just leads us and inspires us to get better and better every year.
It really does. It really does. And there are some incredible, incredible wines. If you are going to visit the Elgin Valley, it is one of my most impressive, really, really great places to go and visit for wine. All right. So, guys, your water is boiling, hopefully now. And it's very, very important to always season your water. Put a nice big pinch of salt into it. One of my old chefs used to say it needs to taste like the Mediterranean Sea. So literally taste the water, make sure that it's nice and salty. It's good. And now we're going to get our orzo in. All right. So as we start, as I said, this pasta rice, really, really great. Available at Pick n Pay. Straight into that water. And we're just going to boil that away. That's going to take some time to boil. I would say about 10 minutes or so. So that probably takes 10 minutes to go. Get that boiling. Make sure there's enough water in there just to keep rolling that around. And while we're doing that, also, we're going to start with the base of our really, really great thing. We've got a creamy sort of orzo with some cream, a little bit of onion, some roasted garlic as well. So the base of this always is an onion. Whenever you make a pasta, whenever you make a dish, you really want to start building those flavors. And we always start off with a little bit of onion. So you've got these really cute little onions here.
And it almost looks like a shallot.
It does look like a shallot, exactly. And people always think, oh, shallots, these fancy onions, they're just really basically like a small, tiny little onion anyway. So peel this away, just so you don't have any of that, that skin. There we go. And we're just going to slice this up. It really doesn't matter how you slice it. If you want to slice it like a chef, I'll show you how to do it. You can see it there. All right. So you cut off the two ends over there. And what you do, I'll do it with this one, is you cut it 3/4 of the way through. There we go. Just like that. And the same one like that. Just straight down. These are so tiny that you certainly don't need to do it. But if you wanted to go to a bigger one, you would literally slice it at an angle like that, just to get some nice small dice. There we go. That's exactly how you do it. And then you would slice it straight down. Dip, 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 dip. Rocking your knife. There we go. And you get those nice small little onions in there. Okay. Simple. Same thing with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All done. All right. Get that to the side. And what you're going to do is you're going to get your pan on as well. So hopefully you got two cookers like we do over here, and we're going to start cooking off that onion. So that is the base of our dish. We're going to do it slowly. We're going to make sure that everyone's together with us. And there you'll see over here is another little thing we've got here, quite interesting. It's confit garlic. Very, very simple. All you need to do is you need to take your clove of garlic. If you've got a whole garlic bulb, crush it up, put it with the skins on into some oil. And you literally, confying means that you are slow cooking it in that oil, in fat, probably below boiling, so it doesn't bubble too much. And as you slowly cook it, all of the sugars in there become nice and roasted and really, really flavorful. And you even can use the oil after, which I shall do right now. So I'm going to slice.
How long can you keep it afterwards?
I reckon you can keep it in oil for, I would say, easily a month in a jar.
Okay.
Easily. All right. So I'm going to use that. I'm just going to put that into my pan because we're going to be cooking the onions in there. Just those onions that you chopped up nice and fine, straight into your pan. There we go. You'll start to hear a little bit of a sizzle. So you've got two things going on in the kitchen at the moment. You've got your orzo, which is cooking, and you've also got your shallots or your little baby onion, which is cooking as well. Lovely. Okay? Do you like cooking at home?
I do.
Yeah. Rise?
Not as much. I do buy.
Yeah.
Not as much as just being in the kitchen.
Being in the kitchen,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, it is, you know, I can only imagine being a winemaker and living on a wine farm. You do live on the farm, eh? Not anymore.
On the weekends.
On the
yes.
weekends. When you want to go riding your bike on the farm.
Exactly, yeah.
It is an amazing farm.
But it's, I think the amazing thing these days, and what even this show does, is that these days, you don't have people cooking in the kitchen and then your guests come afterwards and then you serve them. It's a far more interactive experience, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what's lovely is when you cook with friends and you create amazing dishes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why those kitchens these days have changed to like just
Exactly.
being open kitchen.
Open plans with counters and everything. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So we're cooking off our onions. We starting off with our onions, and then we're going to add the garlic afterwards, because you don't want that garlic to burn too much. So because this is just really, really small, it's going to take quite a quick time to cook.
Yeah.
And what you'll do is you'll get this, your confit garlic, and you'll literally just squeeze it in.
But it's a good point that onions take longer to cook than garlic.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you don't want to put them in the pan at the same time.
You see, coming from the master here.
Just based on the question you got. So
Exactly.
Otherwise you'll burn your garlic and your onions won't be ready.
Completely.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Exactly it. And then the garlic burns and then it becomes bitter.
Yeah.
Don't want that.
Exactly.
All right. Cool. So in your pan, you're basically mixing that all together and you're getting that beautiful aroma out. You got your garlic, you got your onions, and that's all happening nicely over there. All right. So slowly cook it, turn it down. Do not get it too hot. I think it's time that we taste this beautiful, beautiful.
I've been drinking away already.
All right. So Pinot Noir, some people think that it should also be maybe served at a lower temperature. Is that true?
Well, we were talking about it earlier on, is that I think the biggest mistake we do in South Africa is we drink our red wines too hot.
Yeah.
We drink our white wines too cold and our red wines too hot. Well,
Yeah.
And why do I say that? The ultimate serving temperature for white wine is about 10 degrees Celsius.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? We take a white wine out of a fridge, which is 3 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you taste nothing.
Of course.
And then on our red wines, we don't put it in the fridge at all. And we take it out room temperature. If you live in Joburg in the summer, that's about 35 degrees Celsius, or 30 degrees Celsius, or even in Paul. And that's also too hot. The ideal serving temperature for red wine is 18 degrees. Any red wine.
Any red wine.
Any red wine. So my tip would be for people is if you're going to serve red wine that's been standing outside, actually put it in the fridge half an hour before the time.
Yeah.
And make sure that you bring down the temperature. Rather have it too cold than too warm, because it's easy to warm the wine up
100%.
in your glass afterwards. And then you can actually discover how the wine tastes at different temperatures. Yes, Pinot can be a little bit cooler than 18 degrees, 16, but I won't drink it cold.
Well, that's very interesting, because a lot of people might think that you should drink a Pinot cold.
Well, the perception might sometimes be it's a type of a rosé, which it's not, right? And the only reason Pinot Noir is lighter in color is the pigmentation in the grape itself. And hence the fact you actually get a wine that is more red as opposed to blue, which is the dark red colors that you get from Merlot and Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon, etc.
Yeah.
So Pinot Noir tends to give you this beautiful strawberry color red color, as opposed to blueberry.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, and it is very much like that, and it does look a lot lighter. It certainly is a lot lighter in to color, but the complexity is very much there.
And that's really what you're after at the end of the day.
Yeah. Good. All right. So take a little sip, taste that. While you're doing that, I think it's the time that we take our shiitake mushrooms off. I'm pretty
look
sure
amazing.
Everyone has caught up now, and their pan has slowly caramelized those onions, and it's looking good. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out these, and it's time that we actually chop them up slightly to put them into the pan as well. So drain out that water, as you can see right there. Just squeeze it out, put it onto the board. Thank you very much. Drain out some of the water. That's it. onto the board, and we're just going to slice those up ever so slightly. All right, there we go, onto the board, and we're just going to slice them. It should be nice and soft by now. Just a few little slices. There we go. This whole packet is for 2 people. So you'll see inside your boxes that you've got 2 packets of orzo. Hopefully that's gone into the pot together. 2 little onions. We're going to make a double little portion for you at home. But right now in our studio, we're going to cook 1 portion for Paul. And I'm just going to do half of them for now. All right. So half of those mushrooms in. There we go. Put that to the side. Actually, I'm going to add this one as well.
So what was the inspiration for this dish?
So to tell you the truth, it really is about sort of combining flavors. What I wanted to do was we wanted to kind of create something that was nice and sort of wintry. We are in the middle of winter, something that has got quite a lot of complex flavors. I love wild mushrooms. And also winter is a time for these really, really great mushrooms. And I think with this wine, what I love about it is that it's got a slight salinity as well. It's got quite a lot of like savory notes to it, which I thought would work quite nicely with this. Still a little bit of acidity with the Pinot Noir. It's got a nice little bit of a touch of acidity, and I think a creamy dish would work quite nicely with that. And then I think it's all about sort of like building on that. So we started off with like, okay, cool, a creamy dish. What else can we add to that? Let's add some wild mushrooms, earthiness. That really adds to that. Are we going to add something which has also got quite a lot of umami flavor? Cool, let's add Parmesan. Something that's got a nice little crunch. Perfect, let's add some copper to that. What else would be really nice to add? Something slightly different. Let's add some walnuts to that. And it really is just about like thinking about the different layers of complexity or the different layers of adding different flavors to it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Good. All right, cool. So we've probably had our orzo on there for, I would say, about 7 minutes or so. See how it's doing. I'd say you just check it out. It's looking good. Probably, I'd say about 1 minute left. You don't want to cook it until it's completely puffed, just like any sort of pasta, but you also want to have a slight al dente to it, because you are going to be placing it into your pan with a little bit of cream and stuff to it.
And it often keeps on cooking after you take it off.
It does. Right? It does. Exactly that. All right. Perfect. So I'm going to have another sip.
So what was the first red wine you ever drank? Can you remember?
It was probably a Merlot, to be perfectly honest with you.
Really?
And the reason why is because people have this perception that a Merlot is probably one of the kind of friendliest wines to drink because it's the softest wine to drink. So it was a Merlot. I think that people sometimes think that a Cabernet Sauvignon is quite a robust, heavy wine. And a Merlot is kind of slightly softer. So it's probably one of a Merlot that I drank.
Okay. Mine would have been Tassenberg. Having gone to Stellenbosch University, obviously. I mean,
Look, I went to Rhodes University. There's probably something similar like that as well.
But so Tassies is actually a blend of wine, and
yes.
I often think that blends do exceptionally well because they tend to be, as you say, also softer. And if I took out a girl on a date, it would have been Chateau Libertas if I upgraded it a little bit, right?
She was treated.
But without a doubt.
All right, cool, guys. So you probably cooked this now to a point where you just give it a taste. If it's got a slight bite, it's 100% fine. That's exactly where you kind of want it to be. You don't want it to be too overcooked. We're going to grab that. There you go. We're going to strain this out into a bowl. So get yourself a bowl and a little strainer. We're going to pour this water out just so we have our pasta left. Don't worry if there's a little bit of water left into it, because you actually do want a little bit of that water inside your pasta. You'll see that the pasta has a little bit of has some starch in it, which is good. That's what you want. You want to add that water back into it. So what I'm going to do is when you strain it, just add that pasta back into your pan, okay? So you've got your mushrooms in the pan, you've got your garlic in the pan, a little bit of onions in your pan, and now we're going to add your strained orzo into that. If there's a little bit of water in there, perfect. That's all you want. All right, so that's exactly what you want. You want a little bit of that, and you're going to toss it around, okay? Just getting a little bit of that. It's almost like a risotto, this, isn't it? Eh?
Looks amazing.
It's looking good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so everybody let's see where you are. We'd love to see some photos. Do post them. As we said, you can stand a chance of winning 300 Rands worth of Smart Shopper points. So please do post. I'm loving seeing what's going on in the kitchen. I see everyone's running around. You got everyone's tasting the wine. Here we are. Are you seasoning it? Would you like to add a little bit of salt? Taste it, season, taste it, season. You guys are doing well there. Really, really good. Okay. So on your pan, there we go. Should we add some cream?
Yes.
Let's add a little bit of cream. All right. So you've got this nice little convenient little jar of cream. You're going to add that in. Your pan, I would say, should be on a medium heat. Add a little bit of cream in there. I'm going to add about half of mine because I've got a half portion, but you can add the whole one if you really like to, maybe a little bit less than the whole one. There we go. And just give it a nice little toss around. There we go. Pretty good. I think that it's going to work. I do. It's a cold evening here.
It looks,
Cape Town
it smells amazing,
Yeah?
though, right?
It really does.
And would you add other mushrooms?
You certainly can add mushrooms. Shiitake mushrooms do have quite a strong flavor.
And what about truffle oil?
Truffle would be amazing.
Yeah.
Truffle really would be amazing.
Yeah.
Truffle oil is good. It's very, very pungent. So you don't add too much.
Yeah.
So I think that just literally it's you just want to do that very, very slowly. So don't add too much to it and don't touch it too much. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So everyone's just asking, where do we share the pics? Please do share the pics to your social media and use the hashtag PNP Wine Club and the hashtag Paul Clüver Wines. Okay. Very, very simple. All right. Cool. So as we're going along, we're adding flavor. We're adding a little bit of umami. We're going to add this pecorino to it as well. That's going to give it even a nice little bit of a flavor. That's in your little sachet like that. That is the shaved little Parmesan already in your bag. Going to add that to it. Let's give that a mix around. You can see how that creaminess is coming along nicely. There we go. Beautiful. And I'm just going to turn that off while I'm pretty sure that everyone is going to be catching up. There we go. I always like to add a little bit of salt at this stage, a little bit of crack. There we go. Look how nice and creamy that is. There we are. Is everyone's looking a little bit like that at the moment? Nice and creamy. Perfect. Okay. Paul, are we ready to plate up?
We are.
Okay.
Yes.
Now this is the fun time. So grab yourself a bowl. Doesn't matter what size. There's your bowl. All right. And we're going to start topping it. We're going to start adding our last little bits of flavor to that. Okay. So into a bowl. I'm just literally going to plate it like that. Really nice and simple. I think we show everyone what it looks like. There we go. Can you see that? Whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. Nice and simple, nice and creamy. Give it a little toss around. Okay, so now we're going to start adding flavor. So some Parmesan cheese, ready with your grater?
I am. I'll use the clean part of it.
There you go. If you want to basically use this, you can add a little bit, you can use a peeler and you can peel it if you want to as well, or you can use a grater and grate that over it. There we go.
There we go.
And then we're going to add a little bit of this copper. And this basically is an Italian ham that has been dehydrated. So you can buy this at Pick n Pay, and you literally, it's shaved copper, which is a nice sort of, it's from the shoulder of the pig. And this is dehydrated to make a nice little crisp. If you want to put it into the oven, you can put it into the oven at about 80, 90 degrees for a couple of hours, and it goes into this nice little crisp.
Nice.
So take that and crumble that on top. Pull it in little pieces if you want to. There we go. Lovely. It's just going to add certain kind of different dimension to the dish. It's going to give it a little bit of a savory note to it. That's it. There we go. It's a perfect wintry dish. I know in Cape Town, we are literally stuck in the biggest cold front ever. Hopefully in Joburg, you're not dealing with this as well. But if you are, all good, all right? And then the last little bits and pieces, what we've got is we've got these little nuts. Very, very cool as well. I'm going to hand this over as well to Paul. These are some walnuts. Yep, just crush them. This also adds a nice sort of nuttiness, which I think will go quite nicely with it together. There we go.
There we go.
Straight on top. Last little bit. And even if you've got some herbs or if you've got anything at home that you want to add.
Would you put parsley or something?
Parsley would work particularly well.
Yeah.
There we go. Little last bit of salt. There we go. You can top up that. Look at that. Absolutely perfect. What a perfect little winter dish. Really, really nicely paired with this Pinot Noir. I think that hopefully it'll go well. I've got a fork here for you. There we are. And this really is a dish that I think if you're sitting around a dinner table, something that's really, really easy. How long did that take us to do? It literally took us 15 minutes to make. You guys can do this at home for any sort of party if you want to, a small little dinner.
Beautiful.
Beautiful?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the creaminess. The wine just lifts it. The combination is absolutely amazing.
I'm going to take a small little spoonful as well.
Yeah.
What I quite like about it is actually is a nice earthiness from those shiitake mushrooms.
Yeah.
But that very subtle garlicness comes from the confit garlic in there.
It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very good. I think that it should work. I can see everyone still cooking. There's a little bit of zesting going on. Really, really good. There's a little bit of some oil on top. What will be very nice as well is to bring up those citrus notes on the top if you want to. We've got this lemon flavored extra virgin olive oil, which is also from the.
I was wondering what you were going to do with that, right?
This is going to take it to the next level. So a small little bit of this, we're literally going to drizzle this on top, just like that. And that's going to lift it with a slight little bit of citrus notes, also a bit of olive oil on top. Really, really good. If you guys have also got that inside your boxes, and you can use that just to drizzle over. I think that should really kind of bring that full dish to
also brings out lovely color in the dish, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And we eat with our eyes, eh?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Without a doubt. It's good. So you guys really have tasted two things. Buy confit garlic at Pick and Pay. You can't probably buy confit garlic, but as I said, it's so super simple to do. You literally buy a bulb of garlic from Pick and Pay, some olive oil if you want to use some olive oil, to use that olive oil later. Put it into a pot. Don't get it to it while it's frying, and you literally leave it there for about, I'd say, an hour or two until it really infuses, and then all of that, the garlic gets really, really nice and soft. And just keep that in a jar and use the oil. If you want to use oil at any time, use the oil. If you want to use a mayonnaise, use the garlic. If you want to use it for cooking, it'll be a perfect combination.
You can even make a homemade mayonnaise with a garlic piece in it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You really, really could.
Yeah.
You could. It's really been good, honestly. Yeah. I think that we've done particularly well.
That was amazing.
I can't wait to...
The problem is you make it look effortless, right? And everyone else is still running around the kitchen. They're getting there, though.
You are getting there. I can see that everyone's actually eating. You guys are eating in the top there.
Yeah, they're on. Cheers.
2 thumbs. You see.
Yeah, there we go.
Fantastic. Perfect date night for a Thursday with us, Pick and Pay Wine Club, and Paul Clüver. There you go. That's fantastic. Look at that dish.
Yeah.
Honestly, you guys have been doing an amazing job. Well done. Please, you are posting those to social media. You have done extremely well.
It's Mr. Bowtie's dish. I mean, look at that. Yeah, I mean, he's done an incredible job, right? Hey, I love it.
Fantastic. We love seeing what you guys are doing. And thank you so much for all of your questions and all of your comments also on the chat box. We'd just like to say thank you to Pick and Pay Wine Club for putting this event on. We are going to announce our winners very, very shortly. So make sure that those last little dishes of yours have been taken photos of and posted onto social media. Before we go, obviously inside your box, Pick and Pay not only has given you an opportunity, and Paul Clüver has been very, very kind enough to hand over some really, really incredible wines. But also within your box, you will find that you have the voucher for 100 Rand off any of your next purchases online. You just need to use the voucher code Paul100 at the checkout. And not only that, but you also get 25% off these two incredible wines as well. So you guys have been treated to hopefully some nice food, and I can guarantee some incredible wines. And we do have some winners. We got some winners. Paul, would you like to read out our 3 winners for this evening?
So the first one is Stuart Akers. He can probably not wave or anything, but and the second person is Paul. Lucas van Eck and John Manking.
Congratulations, guys. You have 300 Rands worth of Smart Shopper points that are on the way to you for posting or giving us some really, really good content to work with. So thank you very, very much. I think we've had a good evening, Paul.
Thank you so much. Yeah. That was absolutely amazing.
It really was. And thank you so much for coming. I'm sure that everyone has really enjoyed it and learning a little bit more about Paul Clüver wines. And hopefully we'll come and visit you guys in the Elgin Valley. Most
definitely. You're more than welcome. I think we should get Jono to come out to the farm and then could do like a whole cooking session there for us. I mean, it's been absolutely incredible. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please join us next month for the next edition of the Pick and Pay Winemakers Table. And if you are ever going to be in Durban in August, there is a Pick and Pay Winemakers Festival as well. So please do join us there as well in August 18th. But thank you very much, Paul. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've absolutely enjoyed this wine, and hopefully that you guys have as well. So we'll see you for the next month, and absolutely thank you very much. Cheers. Everyone. Cheers.
Cheers.